Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tracy, if you haven't been here before, and I'm talking about my real life story about taking a GLP-1 and have had weight loss surgery. So I did miss week 8. My computer broke. I had to buy a new one, and I also had to say goodbye to my 14-year-old dog. I just wasn't in the headspace to make a video, and I want to be honest about that. So today's video, I'm going to do things a little different. I'm not going to have a health tip or behavior changes at the end. I'm just going to basically summarize what's happened and gone on in the last 2 months on the GLP-1. So, summarizing, I've learned so far and talking about some simple, realistic habits are helping me stay consistent without turning my entire life into diet talk. So I come on here and I'm talking about it so that it helps me not just kind of stay accountable. So that's why I'm doing the videos. If you're on a GLP-1 and they were thinking about it or just trying to build healthier habits in a sustainable way, this video is for you. As I said, I do like to put some health tips and goal setting and stuff like that. So if that's for you, keep on going. So the last 8 weeks or 9, I've been learning, or how do I put it? Last 8 weeks have been a learning experience, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Some weeks were easier than others. For instance, with Christmas and my dog dying and things like that, I found that very stressful. And I was doing a lot of grieving about that. Some weeks the scale moved, some they didn't. Some weeks it went up a pound, some weeks it went down half a pound. Over Christmas, it didn't really move. This last month on 0.5, but then I wasn't really concentrating other than on my habits, on what I was eating. I was having treats and I was having other things. Um, some weeks, like I said, it didn't change me at all. Like it was just, I went back to the way I was. And I really want to normalize that progress is not linear. Okay. A GLP-1 isn't a magic fix, same as weight loss surgery. Um, and like any tool, because this is a tool, it works best when it's paired with intention, patience, and realistic expectations. So over Christmas and the holidays, I did post some ideas and I tried to stick to them myself, but realistically, it was harder than I thought it was going to be. And I did snack on tarts and cookies and stuff. But I got to admit, I didn't go all out on them like I normally would have in past Christmases. I really tried to have one, take my time eating it, really enjoy it. And I was satisfied with one, whether it was a chocolate, a cookie. I love in the evening I've always loved a couple of cookies. So I kind of count that into my program usually so that I can have cookies. Except I had tarts and chocolates this time of year. So I did work those into with my calories. And there were days that I had a little binge and stuff like that as well. So for dosing, at the beginning I started on 0.25 milligrams for 4 weeks. So my doctor has me going up every 4 weeks. So then I finished the 0.5 milligrams, was another 4 weeks. And last week I took my first shot of the 0.75 grams. So I've been on that for a week and I'm taking the next shot today and we'll see how this next week goes. What I have noticed since I've started this in the last 9 weeks is the reduced food noise, which I've talked about, where it's not constantly in my mind. I'm eating a lot smaller portions, which, like I said, I have that small plate and I just serve it up on that. But I even noticed Christmas dinner. I had like a little piece of ham, about 2 tablespoons of potatoes, and a couple tablespoons of stuffing and stuff like that. And I couldn't finish it. I was very full after just finishing that little bit. Um, I have more awareness of why and when I eat. Um, so like whether it's boredom, I noticed I didn't think I stress ate, but with my dog Coco dying, I stress eat, because I found that really hard because she was sick for about a week beforehand and it was making that decision. I've also noticed that, as you know, at the beginning of every program, diet, whatever you want to call it, you have a honeymoon phase where it's so easy and you're so excited and it's just everything is working out and you're losing weight and everything. Well, my honeymoon phase has ended. I'm still motivated. I happen to find a little bit more motivation and concentrate more on a few habits that I need to fix. So I'm also better, like I said, identifying the different hunger types: boredom, stress, stomach hunger, that kind of thing. We talked about the stomach hunger, the brain hunger, the mouth hunger. So I've always been pretty good at telling the difference with that one. Um, One thing that's come very clear to me, though, is the structure still matters. I need that structure. So setting smart goals without being overwhelmed. I went over with you my 1 week. I think what I'm going to start to do is, I don't know whether I'll do it weekly or monthly because I haven't decided. Some goals I think I'll change weekly, some I'll change monthly. Um, so remember, a SMART goal is measurable, achievable, relevant, specific, and time-based. I kind of missed the S at the beginning there. So SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-based. Instead of saying something like, I'm going to be perfect with food, I now focus on goals like eating meals at regular times, and drinking enough water. Moving my body in ways that it feels doable, like I go to the gym and my walking for 30 minutes a day. And I'm stopping eating after a certain time in the evening. Now, I was doing very well with that, and over the holidays, then again with grieving, I was eating after 8 o'clock and binging and stuff like that. So these goals that I'm going to do now this week are realistic, that I can keep them and it'll build my confidence. So my first goal for this week, because I also had missed some of my gym days, I'm going to keep my gym appointments. So at Live Well, I have to make appointments, and I go Mondays and Fridays at 8 in the morning. And like, they were closed on Boxing Day, so I had to change it to a Saturday. I woke up, I was sore, I didn't want to go. So my first goal is to keep my gym appointments, even if I need to modify them. Over Christmas, like I said, I skipped a day because I woke up sore and fatigued, and I used it as an excuse not to go. Now, I know with the PMR, once I start moving, I feel much better. It's just getting there. Sometimes it's just, if you've ever had it or know somebody had it, it's just so hard to get out of bed sometimes because of the pain. So when I'm around friends and coworkers, I'm not going to talk about diet and pain. It's been brought to my attention by my family that this has become a default topic for me, and I want to change that. If needed, I'll even keep some conversation starters handy. So, like, how I'm going to do that is, when I go out with friends, I'm going to not talk about my diet, or my coworkers and family. I'm not going to talk about my diet. I'm not going to talk about the pain I'm in. I'm going to have conversation topics ready before I go out so that I have something to talk about if conversation needs it. So that one is going to be tough for me. And as long as I can do it with my friends and my extended family and coworkers, that is my goal. If I talk about with my husband, I'll get to that. But right now, friends, family, coworkers when I'm out. Okay? So that is my goal, is not to talk about diet or pain. That's what this is for, so I can get it out here. My third goal is not to eat after 8 p.m. Like I said, I was doing pretty good at that. But over the holidays, it definitely threw me off. So I definitely haven't made that a habit yet. So that one's going to be a little easier for me because I was almost there. So again, My goals are keeping my gym appointments. When I'm around family, friends, and coworkers, I'm not going to talk about diet and pain, and not eating after 8 p.m. So, not talking about dieting all the time. Now, I don't know if it's just me because I've dieted all my life, or if you all do it. I don't know. But I don't know if it's part of my eating disorder I had as I was younger either, being bulimic and stuff, because I still have binges. I still weigh myself, and it's just always on my mind. So, not talking about dieting, it's a really big one for me. Like I said, I learned that constant talking about dieting with friends and family, or even in my own head, because it's always in my head, it makes things a little harder because all I'm thinking about is food. Um, Not everyone needs updates on what I've been eating, what I can eat, what I didn't eat, or what the scale said this week or day, because I tend to weigh myself daily. Um, so sometimes protecting my progress means setting boundaries. So it's okay if I change the subject. It's okay to keep things private. And it's okay to focus conversations on life and not food. Now, here I'm talking real life, so this is my space where I am going to talk diet and possibly my pain. I'm going to try. I'm assuming you guys don't want to hear about the pain I'm in all the time either, so I'm going to try and stick it to just dieting, okay? And fitness, not fitness tips, but new habits. Like I said, I've talked about new habits and things that can help you along the way. So, some simple habits that I found that really help are, again, not eating after 8. This isn't about restricting myself, it's about giving my body time to rest and reset. It's also about the fact that I'm a night eater. So I find that if I set a time and a goal for that, I tend not to eat past that time. I do find that 7:30, 8 o'clock, it's like, oh, I can only eat for another half hour. Am I hungry? So I will check in because I know I can't eat after that 8 o'clock period. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But if I'm truly hungry, I'll listen. But most of the time, late night eating was a habit and it wasn't hunger. Now, I did notice when my dog was getting sicker, I started stress eating late night again, especially between midnight and 2 a.m. So this is where I'd love your help. Um, Love you to comment below with any ideas. What I can do late at night, around midnight and 2, 3 in the morning when I'm not sleeping and I'm awake and all I want to do is eat. Because that one night I went back for cookies. I ate half a bag of chips. I just went for it. I'm a total binge. Um, so the one thing being midnight is I can't or won't go for a walk. We don't have street lights. I'm afraid of the dark. And there's wild animals like coyotes and stuff that are of concern for me. I can't cook or clean in the middle of the night because I don't want to be noisy and wake up my husband. So, again, if you have any ideas what I can do during that time instead of eating, please leave them in the comments below. One thing I have thought of is I can meditate, but even that, I've tried the waiting it out. I've tried some of those other tricks that aren't noisy, but I could use some help on what to do when I'm in that situation again. So, the other thing I noticed that's over this last month that's different than being on having the sleeve is a sleeve I had to eat when I was hungry. So I had my protein drinks. I only ate when I was hungry. I was eating at the beginning of the sleeve. Because you're on pureeds and things like that. I was only having about 800 calories a day. So I was dropping the weight pretty quickly. And then as you go on, you eat a little bit more because your stomach's stretching that little bit. And like I said, I did lose, I think I got down to 170 on there and I kept it off for 5 years and then slowly gained it back. And here we are. I gained it all back and now I'm starting over again. So the one thing I've noticed with the GLP-1 is I don't have the hunger cues. It's very different. It's like I'm not hungry at all. Sometimes I am, but most of the time it's like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and all I've had is a protein drink. Because I'm not hungry. Even today, right now it's after 12. I'm not even hungry for lunch. I'll probably have something when I'm done eating here. I've had a protein drink. That's it. Um, so with the GLP-1, the hunger cues feel very different than they did with the weight loss surgery. So I don't wait until I'm hungry with this. I suggested that early on, but I'm taking that back for the GLP-1 because you just, if I only ate when I was hungry, I wouldn't eat at all. The one day I did eat only when I was hungry, I didn't even have 500 calories, and that included a protein drink. So what I'm doing is I'm having breakfast by mid-morning. So like I said, on work days, I'm up at 3, 4 in the morning, or 4 or 5 in the morning now. And I won't have anything before I go to work because I don't want to start eating in the middle of the night. So when I get on the ferry, I'll have some breakfast. Sometimes I'll have the protein drink while waiting for the ferry. And then I'll get on the ferry and go upstairs in the cafeteria and have an egg or custard or just a small breakfast toast, something like that. Then I will go, and later after that, I will have my electrolyte drink, the Organica electrolyte. And then around between, depending where I am on the road, because I'm driving, um, between 12 and 2. Sometimes I wait till I'm back at the ferry terminal after picking up my car. Depends how, if I do get hungry. I'll have like a couple of chicken legs, or I buy the 100-gram packs of smoked salmon, the nuggets, and I'll have that. And sometimes a piece of cheese. Like I buy the cheese strings, not the yucky ones, but the cheese strips, the actual cheddar, not the wobbly string cheese. Um, So, and then by the time I get home, depending again on the ferry I catch, sometimes I'm home in time for dinner, sometimes I'm not home till 7. So I will bring some extra stuff like a pepperoni stick or a protein bar or something like that to have. And then when I get home, I'll either, depending on the time, have another protein drink or some cottage cheese, or if my husband Matt has made something for dinner, I'll have a little bit of that. So that is my day when I'm at work. I only work 3 days a week, so when I'm home, that changes a bit. I usually sleep in anywhere until from 7 to 10. I'll get up. It depends if I'm going to the gym or not, or have appointments. So I'll usually get up and I'll have my protein drink, which I use the good protein, as I told you, and I mix it with some coffee. Some days my stomach just isn't into having the coffee and I'll skip the coffee, but most of the time I do mix it with coffee. So I'll have that, and then depending when I was up, if I got up at 10, I will wait and have that and wait until lunchtime, around 1, 2 o'clock to have lunch. But if I got up earlier, I'll have that, come home, and I'll have like a piece of toast or cheese string or some sort of protein to get me through until lunchtime. And then at lunch, we do get takeout quite a bit. We're trying to cut back on that. But when we do get takeout or McDonald's, I'll have like 4 to 6 chicken nuggets. I used to be able to eat the 6. Now I can eat about 4. I don't have the fries. I just eat the chicken nuggets with some dip, and I find that satisfying. Like I said, I am trying to not do that quite so often. It's just my husband and I are both home, and it's handy. We're out doing something, and it's like, let's just stop and grab something and have it when we get home. But if I'm not eating out, I have things like I have my homemade soup, or a little thing of soup, or I have cottage cheese, or I have a sandwich, leftovers from the night before, something like that. And then dinner, I have, if there's no leftovers, I'll have like chicken or something with ground beef. I have fish, anything like that. But I usually don't have breads and rices and stuff. The sandwich or the toast is about my only time I will have breads or starches. Any other meal, I tend to skip them because I don't really need them. I just, in the mornings, I find that piece of toast and peanut butter. perfect for me. So that tends to be my go-to. So we'll see how that goes. So it keeps me so I'm not snacking all day. Like I said, with doing that, I'm not grabbing I'm going to stop at a gas station and grab a package of nuts or a package of chips or an extra pepperoni stick. I'm bringing all that with me. And I usually will go to the butcher and buy the pepperoni sticks that are all handmade, and they're actually really good where I go. So I'll do that kind of thing and have them in the house. So I'm also learning to let good enough be enough. I'm trying. I have good days, I have bad days, but I'm not perfect. So as long as I'm consistent, same as you, just be consistent. It's better than it matters more than being having perfection, because we aren't all going to have perfect days or days where, you know what, I'm not going to when I stay in the morning, I'm not going to have takeout or fast food or restaurant food. But then just the way my day works out, I'm out doing things, and that's just the way it works out. But I'm not going to beat myself up on it. I'm going to adjust. I journal it, and I'm going to adjust. What I journal is on my Samsung phone. I have this app here that came with the phone. It's the health app. And I'm finding it really good. And like you can put in your weight and it shows me how many steps I've done. I don't know if you can see that on here. And I put in my food. That's from yesterday. I had 1,079 calories. That included me having a tart, a butter tart, and that kind of thing. So I can keep track. And my goal each day is 1,500 calories, but I've only eaten that once since I started doing this. I'm usually around no more than the 11 or 1,200, but there's a lot of days that I'm under the 1,000. But I do try to at least get 1,000 calories. But healthier. Just like I said, over Christmas, I've been having tarts and cookies and chocolates. So the one thing I do like though is I bought the good chocolates, the Purdy's. And if I have one chocolate and just do that, take that bite and really enjoy it, I only want the one chocolate and it's only 60 calories. So that's what I mean. Like, choose what you really want, because it's just going to be, if it satisfies you, that's great. You want more, go back and get another one. Another 60 calories, like 3 chocolates is 100 and I think 30 grams is 100 and I forget what it was, 160 or something. I forget. But I just found that majority of their chocolates are around 60 calories, and I still get that little treat. I don't need the sugar, but having it once in a while isn't going to hurt me. And I'm not screwing up my whole diet just because I have a piece of chocolate. My favorite Purdy's chocolates are Sweet Georgia Browns. Well, they're still in my trailer that I bought way before Christmas, and I haven't even opened them. So there we go there. So what I've learned so far after 9 weeks, and here's what I know to be true. Slower progress is still progress. So like I said, the first month I lost a lot of weight. This month, not so much. Structure creates freedom. So I'm keeping my days a little more structured so that I know what I'm doing. Like I said, the structure just keeps me going. My boundaries protect my consistency. So I've set boundaries, not rules, but boundaries, and I can be consistent with those boundaries most of the time. And also, this isn't a quick fix, it's a long-term journey. Remember that, like weight loss surgery, a GLP-1 is a tool. It's not a magic pill that you can take and, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds by next month. It is a tool. You still need to work at losing weight, and you still need to change your habits and your mindset and things like that. So that's why I've been on my previous videos. I talk about myself and then add some stuff at the end about changing habits and mindset. And I hope that helps you a little bit. But I'm doing it for me as much as for you, because it keeps me motivated and keeps me accountable. So I've also noticed the GLP-1. I'm not allowed to say the product's name because of Facebook rules, but the GLP-1, it helped quiet the noise. But I still have to show up. Like, it might quiet the noise, but I still need to, for instance, I want a butter tart. I still need to come up with the tricks to change that. Sometimes the thought will go away instantly. Sometimes it lingers and I wait the 20 minutes and it's back there and it's like, okay, do I give in? Do I not give in? Okay, I'm going to give in and have that because I've done the thing 3 times, 4 times, and it's an hour later and I still want that butter tart. But I took the butter tart, I ate it very slowly. I enjoyed every bite and I had the calorie space to do it. So for me, that was a win because I didn't have a binge because I waited so long that I just wanted to eat everything. I had it because I really, really wanted it and I enjoyed it. So let's talk about what the scale says and what my measurements are this week. Remember, I didn't do my starting weights and stuff from the beginning, but I've lost about, I think it's 13 or 14 pounds now. So my weight over the holidays went up and down within 1 to 2 pounds. I was eating out, I was eating treats and drinking alcohol, like wine and hard drinks and those fancy Christmas drinks. So on January 2nd, I weighed myself and I was 221.8. My waist went up a half an inch and it was 46.6. My hips went down a half an inch to 47. And my chest went down a half an inch to 46. So that's just, like I said, not much, but it just your body distributing itself, I guess. So as I mentioned, I'm not in the honeymoon phase anymore, so I need to have a new motivation. And what's better than a New Year's resolution or a long-term goal? So my long-term goal or semi long-term goal is to drop 10 pounds in the month of January. By following a high protein plan and cutting out breads and starches. So that's only 2 pounds a week, and I think I can do that, especially if I keep up the exercise, I stay away from the extra breads and starches this month, and stay within that 1,000 to 1,500 calorie range. I should be able to lose 2 pounds a week. And like I said, I'm up to the 7.75 milligrams. I'm on my just took the second shot of that today. So we'll see how that goes and I can let you know about that next week. So if you're early in your GLP-1 journey, be patient with yourself. You're going to have ups and downs. If you're further along, just keep learning. Watch my videos. I also have a YouTube page, Wegovy in the sleeve. It's a group that you could join. You don't need to talk about dieting all the time. You don't need to be perfect. You're going to have days that you're not. You just need to keep on going. If this video has helped you, please like and subscribe. Share it with someone who might need encouragement today. I'll see you on the next update. Have a great day and thanks a lot. And please comment down below, subscribe, like my video, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.